Good morrow, scholars. Welcome back to Blood of the Dead. Iggy, please have some professionalism. Sorry, I fed him before reading the video, reading for the video, and I fed the turtles too. So I don't know. He just likes to be a distraction. Boots is in here too, over on the windowsill. Anyway, we're in chapter 27, page 166. Itchy. I hate this feeling. Now my hand itches. I think I got bit by something in my sleep. Brain matter and globs of blood splashed against Joe's face. His finger froze on the trigger. Had I... No, he wasn't dead. He was still aware. Then what... A zombie groaned somewhere above him, and a dull thunk shook the pavement as the body dropped to the ground. The pasty corpse lay prone, eyes wide and spacey, staring at him, blood oozing from its skull. Boom. Crash. A couple more of the undead surrounding him dropped to the ground, and not from gunshots. Joe placed his palms on either side of him, pushed against the cement, and quickly got to his feet and stepped away from the building. A thick whistle filled the air, and boomf. It's not a sound effect you see that often. Oh, right, because the superhero thing. A large gray box crashed onto the zombies, at first bouncing off the head of one, puncturing its skull, then rebounding off the creature's head and hitting the pavement, causing the others around it to take a step back. Joe looked up, and two more gray boxes flew from the window above. One near Des, the other near Billy, each box knocking the undead away from his friends. Those looked like... computers? Joe said. Get off me! Billy shrieked as she shoved one of the zombies to the side, just as what looked like a black fax machine sped down toward the zombie behind her, nailing it in the face. See, I wouldn't do that because I have horrible aim. Well, it's not that I have bad aim, it's that I have no depth perception. So, yeah. Where was I? The zombie stood there, muttered something, then teetered on its heels before falling over. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. I just woke up not too long ago. Fire in the hole, came a loud, raspy voice from above. Just then, a photocopier toppled out of the window and sped toward the earth below, landing with a resounding bang as it smashed through a handful of the undead and hit the ground. Bits of plastic, metal, and glass sprayed outward. The creature surrounding it took a step back. Thanks, Joe shouted to the empty window above. He hoped the old guy heard him. The exo-knife raised, he pegged off another zombie, then sent yet another bullet into the head of one stumbling toward Billy as she ran toward him. Off to the side, the dull thwacks of metal beating against bone forced Joe to aim his gun in that direction. Des stood there amidst 5 undead, slamming his pipe into their faces. The look of sheer rage upon Des's face was enough to make even Joe feel a tad uncomfortable. Whoa, easy there, cowboy, he thought. Yet at the same time, he was proud of the timid lad for finally standing on his own. Another computer monitor, quickly followed by its processor, flew out of the window above, whistling through the air. The monitor clunked on one zombie in the shoulder. The processor missed its target and landed in between 2 others. When it broke against the ground, the sudden bang was enough to get the zombies to stop, look down, and slow their advance. From above, get close to the building, hurry! Joe fired the XO9, dropping another creature. He took Billy by the hand when she was in his reach. This sucks, she screamed. What did she think was going to happen? Tell me about it, he said. Come on. What? Are you crazy? She yelped as he tugged her closer to the building wall. You want to box ourselves in or something and die? Yes. Joe shouted over the murmurs and groans of the undead. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness. I apologize. Maybe I should have taken a few minutes to wake up, so to speak. What the heck? Someone must be out in the garden. Boots, don't you dare. What was that? Just turned and withdrew his pipe from a zombie's eye socket. Blood coated the young man's face. He didn't seem to care. Grimacing, just gave Joe a nod, then whirled around and slammed his pipe into the temple of an old dead lady before stepping over the bodies to get to them. One large, dead black dude stumbled toward him. Just didn't seem to know the guy was there. Joe fired off another shot. The creature fell. Dess's eyes darted toward the deceased, then back to Joe, shooting him a cool glare. I saw him. Yeah, right, Joe said. Let's go. The three made it into the building. The undead closed in. Fortunately, many were slowed by having to step around or over their fallen kin. Still, there had to be at least 30 coming their way. Glass shattered above and rained down just to the left. Look out! Billy said as a mammoth wooden disc tumbled over the window frame 5 stories up and crashed upon a few zombies. It's not broken. Oh. The old coot leaned on his palms against the window frame above. Grab on and climb. The three just stood there. Was he serious? You want to die? Under the red hood. The old guy shouted. He reached down to somewhere behind the window and pulled out his rifle. He took aim and fired. Joe jumped as something heavy landed on his toes. He looked down to see a teenage zombie draped over his feet. No, he said to himself. Then, as if in afterthought, not now anyway. Okay, Billy, you go first. He grabbed the end of the fire hose and gave it to her. I can't lift myself, she said, eyes wet with tears. You're gonna have to. But, or you stay down here and get eaten. Yeah. A creature appeared in his peripheral. Well, they could send Des up first, and then, tie the thing around her, and then pull her up, and then put it back down for Joe. Since Joe has a gun, he should survive. I don't know. A creature appeared in his peripheral. He took it down. Billy grabbed hold of the hose and began to climb. Use your legs, Joe told her. She entwined her feet around the hose and began to ascend. Des, give her some space, then it's your turn. Push her up if you have to. How? Just push her up. Boom. Crack. A chair crashed in front of them, scattering 3 more of the undead that had stepped hungrily toward them. Billy was already halfway up the window. Probably all the adrenaline coursing through her gave her a boost. I'm too fat. Des stuffed the pipe into his belt loop, then took hold of the hose. He jumped, and his fingers slipped, and he fell to the ground. Joe offered his hand to help Des up, but he slapped it away. Excuse you? Joe said. Palms are sweaty, Des said. Yeah, sure. Shut up. Then he tried again, this time grabbing on and working his way up. A telephone spun through the air like a disc and knocked another zombie away. A gunshot took down another. Can't hold them off forever, Sonny, came the old guy from above. Just do what you can, Joe shouted, pointing to Billy, and help her if you can. Billy stopped climbing and leaned her head against the palms. Oh my gosh. Ugh. What's Grumpy Cat doing in my closet? Keep going, Des hollered at her from a few feet below. She just hung there. A moment later, she began climbing again, albeit this time much slower. Joe cocked the hammer of the X-09 and took out another zombie before stuffing the gun away and wiping his palms on his pants. He took hold of the hose and pulled himself up. The two undead ambled toward the bottom of the hose. No, not now, he muttered and tried to reach his gun. His arms were already too rubbery from all the excitement. Holding himself up with one hand while trying to reach his gun with the other would be impossible. And he was already a good 10 feet up, so dropping wouldn't work lest he wanted to risk twisting his ankle from landing on top of the corpses. Hurry, hurry, he shouted. Billy had stopped again. I'm out of stuff up here, the old man shouted. Jess, give her a push, Joe said. Jess reached up, arms slightly shaking, and tried to give Billy a nudge on her bottom. It's funny to think, but in a life or death situation, I probably still wouldn't. She was a half foot too high. He couldn't reach her. He climbed up farther, and just as his fingers touched her sweatpants, that sounds disturbing. The two undead below swung the hose, and Des quickly snapped his fingers back and clung to it for dear life. Billy, let go. Uh-oh. She skimmed past Des, her hip bumping into his shoulder, sending her spinning to the left as she fell. Ugh. Joe shot out his arm and caught her around her small waist. She let out a choked gulp the second his arm wrapped around her middle. His fingers slipped on the hose, and he skidded down a couple of feet before the friction brought them to a stop. Ow! That sounds painful. I got you, he said, wincing at the searing heat blazing across his palm. I would imagine so. All she could do was nod. Des peered down over his shoulder at them. Keep going, Joe told him. He grimaced, looked skyward, then continued his ascent. Already Joe's hand was shaking from having to support not just his weight, but hers as well. Billy just hung there off his arm like a rag doll. Below, a few of the dead grabbed hold of the hose and swung it side to side. One of them seemed amazed at the hose's movement. Oh, that sounds funny. I'm going to need your help, Billy, Joe said. He jerked her right up against his buddy and told her to take hold of the hose. His hand slid down another few inches. The zombie swung the hose, sending all three to the right. Joe spun, and his back and base of his neck slammed into the building. A dull thunk echoed inside his head, and the back of his neck throbbed. Grab on, he shouted, without meaning to. Billy adjusted herself in his grip, then reached up and took hold of the hose. I can't, she said. Yes, you can. You have to. We're both done for. A couple of stories above them, Des was now halfway over the window, the old-timer above reeling him in by the back of his shirt. It's okay, Joe, she sniffled, back tears. Really, I'm finished. I can't climb up on my own. Shut up and climb. She shook her head. If you let go, I'm letting go too. But so help me, I'll kill you before they do. It's a good guy. Her blue eyes went wide. Yeah, not joking, he said, locking eyes with hers, then pacing his words very carefully. Start going up. I'll be right behind you. I'll give you a shove when you need it. The hose took a swing to the left and snapped taut as one of the zombies below grabbed on and tried climbing up. It took a few tries, but the thing quickly caught on and slowly ascended. It's either me or that dead guy down there. Your call, Joe said. Billy looked at the creature below. Tears leaked out the corners of her eyes. She took a deep breath and started to move upward. Good girl, he thought. Finally. What? The notch? Then he felt the bottom of his boot skim the top of the zombie's head beneath him. He kicked downward once and hit nothing but air. With his left hand, he gave Billy a shove and ignored the pain in his shoulder as he helped push her up. I would have died a long time ago, I can tell you that right now. When he was finally able to grab hold of the hose with both hands, blessed relief washed through his aching muscles. Much easier. The two climbed. Hurry, they're right behind you, Des shouted. Not so much, thanks to all the weight upon it. Oh, okay. That was oddly phrased. Billy shrieked. Keep climbing, Joe told her. Oh, great, my allergies are acting up. Joe told her. If I could just reach my gun, I could. Billy slipped and landed rear first on top of his head. She must have caught herself because he only slid down another inch or two. He gave her a hard push where her tailbone met her bottom, renewed his grip on the hose, pulled himself up a little, and then gave her a shove again. He kept repeating this till Billy was finally at the top. Grab her, he shouted at Des. The old guy wasn't with him anymore. Des latched both hands on her shoulders and heaved her in like a fisherman loading in a day's catch. Something grabbed Joe's ankle and tugged him down. Both hands slid on the hose, his palms ignited, and it wouldn't have surprised him if he saw smoke waft out from under his hands. That would be funny. Also horrifying, the amount of friction necessary for that to happen. He kicked wildly at the creature below, slamming his boot into its face, all the while scrambling up the hose as fast as he could. Pull me up, he shouted. Des just stared at him, Billy at his side, tugging on the sleeve of his shirt, screaming at him to listen. What's your problem? He shouted, not knowing why Des wasn't doing anything. Again, dead fingers curled around his ankle and yanked him down. What? He let go of the rope and plowed into a dead Asian dude who was on the hose a few stories above street level. The creature's eyebrows drew into a point above its white eyes as it growled at him. What? Immediately, the thing went to bite his neck. Joe jerked to the side, and the thing's teeth just missed him. Suddenly, he had his back to the wall. The undead freak wasn't letting up and clawed at him. Joe shot out his fist and caught the creature in the jaw, then snapped out another punch to the thing's neck. That only dazed it for a second before it grabbed hold of him. His hand held the hose tight while the other was intertwined with the zombies. Again, I would have died a long time ago. There'd be no way to reach his gun now. Bang! Blood and tissue splashed his face as a black hole suddenly appeared in the Asian dude's forehead. The thing let go and fell on top of its comrades below. Joe felt a tug on the hose and was jerked upward, 1 foot at a time. Strength sapped from his arms. He maybe managed a few feet on his own till he felt several pairs of hands grabbing him on the shoulders and around the chest. The polished carpeted floor of an office came into view as he tumbled over the window's edge, landing against someone's shoe. An old man with a scraggly head of gray hair and a great beard loomed over him with a rifle in his hand. You owe me one. Drooling. I do that from time to time. Don't judge me. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end this chapter here. Or I guess end this video here, since this one has multiple chapters usually. And we'll see what happens next. Yeah, I think that's a good spot. Yeah, it should be fine. Alright, let me know. Are you guys in good enough shape to have gotten through that unscathed? Do you think? Keep in mind, I won't be able to know if you're lying or not, so... Oh well. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Everything I wanted to cover, I covered in the video the other day, so what's the point in rambling? Anyway, let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you have any suggestions for something I can read once this is done, because we're getting pretty... Get out of here. Close. And we can go from there. Anyway, until next time. Goodbye, everybody. I actually do have a book that I'd like to read, but we'll see. We'll see.